Saludos and salutations, Broncos country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have a banger for you today? And I'm really sorry if you were not ready for that clap. That was louder than I intended it to be. But guys, we have got a great action-packed episode for you today. All the good and the bad and the Baki that happened from this past weekend's game. I mean, just when you think that you can count the Broncos down and out, which I will admit is something that I really got to stop doing. It's a bad habit. They came back and not only did they even the score, but they put all their chips in and they did everything that they needed to do to get the victory. Now, what does that entail? Stay tuned because we are going to dive into it. Plus, also, it is the return of Broncos Overtalk, your favorite segment where we give you the picks about all the games that we think are going to win, who's ahead, who's in the lead, and who's freaking tied. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that your food is warm, your beer is cold, and that you're comfortable as hell because you are not going to want to miss a single episode of today's show. And that being said, get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because here, actually, no, we won. So, how about them Broncos? It's like you can never get enough of that intro. I love it so much. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in. My name is Adan Diaz, and joining me to my left or right, depending on which direction you're watching, is my co-host, the man that I am really, really jealous of. Well, one of two I'm really jealous of that was at this past weekend's game and that was a part of history. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my co-host, Bronco Libre.
What's happening, Broncos country? The excitement here in the Mile High City just to be able to witness some Mile High magic. Let's go.
I was about to say, where the hell did the hoodie come from, bro? That was pretty cool.
You like that?
Yeah.
This
I didn't
is
know that Poncho came with a hoodie.
Well, yeah, this is a poncho that I got, which is pretty cool. From one of the festivals that were happening over the summer. I was like, man, I have to get this. And then I was like, the best part of it, it has a hoodie. So it's like almost like a boxer, luchador coming down to the ring, like you're just ready to go. And then when you're finally there, boom, the reveal. Ooh. So this I might be wearing this for Sunday because Sunday the weather for Sunday is going to be about 65 degrees or so. So maybe need to get something just a little chill. It's going to be the Broncos en Español game as well. So it's the Mexican Heritage Month, it just ended and whatnot. But this is the game that the Broncos has designated for the Mexican Heritage Month, Mexican game for the Broncos itself. So they're gonna have during the tailgate, like about noon, I think it's gonna start off. Is they're gonna have luchadores that are gonna be there as well, which is gonna be awesome. They've had it over the last several years. I've tried to get on there and actually get into the ring and do something, but they said no, nobody can get in here. Liability issues. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'll try to make some type of appearance in there or try to get in the ring itself to take a picture.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Be on the lookout for a flying man in a mask, drop kicking Cowboys fans all over the place. But ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to see you. Thank you guys so much for being here. If this is your first time here, if this is not your first time here, let me rephrase that. Welcome back. If not, welcome for the very first time. I always screw that up. You'd figure that after doing Libre, how many episodes are we in? Over 100 something? We're close to 200 episodes. So just so you guys know, we'll probably hit 200 maybe next year, Libre. So We got to think of
It's
something
getting close
cool.
because we've been doing 2 episodes for a while now, so
Yeah, I
a
think we're at
week.
180,
Are we that many
180
already?
something. Because I upload the audio version of this podcast to Spotify, so
Okay.
I'll definitely let you know how. I know we're at 100, and actually I can check. I'm so dumb. I got the episodes uploaded on my computer.
See how you are.
Yeah, we're at this is our 188th episode. So
Well, you wait. This is symbolic right now.
oh yeah,
Symbolic. You get it
wow,
now?
yeah,
188.
8.
What a freaking, this is all symbolic. DT. Just the way that, like, I don't know if you guys have heard like all the different stuff that happened in the fourth quarter. We'll
Yes.
talk about it later. Let's take care of some business real quick before we go anywhere else. But just leaving that we'll talk about it. It's just everything is just so symbolic of this happening to be 188 as well, and the stuff that happened in the fourth quarter of the game.
You are so right, Libre. I mean, we are so excited to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I will try my very best to not lose the energy that's already in this room. So, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to ask for your support for us here. If you could just hit that subscribe button, you could share, comment, and like on this and all the videos we have for you here on the Orange and Blue Network. If you're new here and you want to catch up on everything that Libre and I have been talking about for the course of the season, feel free to check us out after this episode, of course, and feel free as well to leave your comments and likes. Your support is very, very much appreciated for us here on Broncos Talk. Also, for any of our people listening to us on audio, doesn't matter what platform you're listening to, if you can send us a 5-star review that you leave, very much appreciated. You can screenshot it and send it to Libre and I, our socials, and we will be more than happy to shout you guys out here on the air, especially if you're not able to join us live and you have comments or questions that you want to ask us. Again, feel free, hit us up on our DMs and we will be more than happy to answer you guys. My Twitter handle is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 52AT. Also, shout out to our sponsor of today's show, which is Dubby. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubby has got no sugar, calories, maltodextrin fillers, or no artificial colors. It's formulated with nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor nootropic. And the caffeine is derived directly from the coffee fruit. And to show you guys how awesome Dubby is, they want to hook you up when you use the code OBN10 to get 10% off your order at checkout. As Libre and I like to say around here, Dubby is all the good stuff without all the bad. So make sure you use that code OBN10 to get your 10% off your order at checkout. Shout out to Dubby and all the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes With for hooking us up with that great discount. Again, that code is OBN10 to get 10% off your order at checkout. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the show scheduled for you just in case you're new here and you are not aware of everything that is going on here on the Orange and Blue Network. Again, the times that I'm going to state are all in Mountain, so please keep that in mind. We have the Orange and Blue Blitz, which airs every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at 11 a.m. We have the Broncos Bros that airs every Monday at 7 because, hey, do you even Bronco, bro? You know what I'm saying? We have the flagship show on Tuesdays at 6, which is a Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. And then we have the Mile High Symposium for those of you that are also Avalanche and other fans of the Colorado sports area every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Broncos Talk, which is what you're watching, of course. On Fridays at 6, we have the Viva Los Broncos podcast, the only Spanish podcast that I know of anyway, coming to you live every Friday at 6. For any breaking news, you got the fresh squeeze that comes to you right as soon as the action hits the airwaves to talk about any and all things Broncos. And then before every game day, of course, 1 hour before kickoff, we have the Get Buck pregame show with all the guys breaking down all the latest updates and news before heading into game time. And then, of course, after the game, regardless of the result, is the Buck Your Feelings postgame show, which features less Johnny Baki now. So, hey, less Johnny Baki is exactly what the people want. You know what I'm saying? Because I know.
Do you even Broncos, bro?
I know. Do you even Broncos, bro? I said I wasn't going to take another shot at Johnny, but I lied.
One of the best things that I love about our community that we have here as well is I got to meet some of the other guys off of the network this weekend. in person for the first time ever. And I've been part of the network now going on almost a year now.
Wow.
And being able to meet Isaiah, meeting Jay, Fanatic Dak, you know, just all these guys just that brought us together here on the network itself. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. You are my brothers in arms. So let's go, man. It's excited. Can't wait to do this again. Even if it's in an away game, we're back here in the Mile High City. I can't wait to do it again, and so we can just hang out. And we had a great tailgate. We started off the game wonderfully because the tailgate was fire. Again, I wanted to give a shout out to Cody Latimer for showing up to the tailgate as well again. So I appreciate you too, Cody. So thank you so much. And just these guys. But now let's talk about the symbolic of what is happening with today's show, what happened on Sunday, and all that. As we all know, this was the celebration of the 10-year anniversary of the Super Bowl champs. This was also the celebration of putting Demaryius Thomas in the Ring of Fame, in the stadium itself. And what is our show number today? There's only 188 that's on this team that will be forever embossed into the Mile High City itself. And the best thing that I love about DT, and you hear all the stories from DT about not because he was a great football player or whatnot, what he was able to do on the field. It's all the stories that you hear about what he did off the field. And that is what makes a person great, is what they do off the field and not on the field. And his support and what he has done, especially here in the Denver community, while he was here, supporting the Boys and Girls Club here in the Mile High City itself. And it's still, the stuff that's happening right now still goes back to this club, the Boys and Girls Club here in Denver, in his honor. What the Broncos do is if they've done something, it's because in honor of DT, is because of what he's already done here. And just hearing all these stories, like, it was such an emotional day. Like, it was just unreal. Like, it was like you felt his presence. Actually, like, I felt his presence. I don't know about anybody else, but for me personally, I felt DT was with the team. And then if you go back and you look at what happened in the fourth quarter, the history that was made, the Broncos, this is the first time I think ever, this is the first time ever that the Broncos had 2 touchdowns and they went for 2 points both times and got them. So we got 8-8, 88 there. Demaryius Thomas, when he did pass, he was 33 years old. How many points did the Broncos score in that final fourth quarter to win the game? 33. So you just had a feeling and everything, just the emotions. Like, I'm getting goosebumps again, just retelling this. Like, everything that's symbolic, that that DT was there with this team, guiding them and helping them out to this victory itself. And one thing that I have to tell people in Broncos countries, there's a lot of you that did this. There's a reason why you never leave a game early. Doesn't matter how bad your team is being beat. You do not leave a game early, because look what we were able to do. The people, the fans that were still there, me being one of them, I've never left a game early. I wait until that clock hits triple zeros before I leave a game. And look what I was able to witness. I witnessed history. History was made. It was a little over 1,000 games, 1,064 games that a team that was up by 18 points or whatever in a game, that were 1,064-0 until this game itself. Never in the history has ever happened, and I was there to witness it. The excitement. My son, while we were there, he came back after the game, and we're just sitting there at the car. He goes, "Dad, man, I have so much stress right now because of this game. I know we just won, but this game added 10 years to my life." And to think about it, it's like, man, the amount of stress that we did go through in that fourth quarter, because it was back and forth. They scored again. There was 10 minutes left. Right there, we all thought that's when everyone walked out. Even I thought, I was like, oh man, here it is, the end of the game. We're done. And then they go again and score with 30 some seconds to go. Oh yeah, and the other thing, 33 seconds left in the game, and we got the ball back to go down to get the field goal to win it. Like that's another thing there. So overall, my main thing is Broncos country. Please don't leave a game early again just so you want to beat traffic. It's not worth it. You miss out history.
Well, you actually beat me to it because I was actually going to bring that up later on in the show for the overtime segment. But you're totally right on everything you said. Leaving a game early should, especially if you're a season ticket holder, they should take your ticket away for the following game. That should be your punishment. Aside from the fact that you get to miss the comeback, but you paid that much money for you to just leave early. Think about that. Especially season ticket holders who literally feel that every time, more than just somebody that just went to a game one time like myself. You guys really need to, you're not going to beat traffic. Unless you leave at halftime, that's the only way you're going to beat traffic. And even then, that's a whole lot worse. But folks, and it's bad when they show it on TV. It's Broncos country at home, and they just show a bunch of people in orange and blue walking, heading for the exits. It looks bad. And the only thing that looks worse than that is the follow-up pictures where they show people trying to stick their big heads through the gate, trying to watch the game through like the TV screens because they can't get back in. Because once you walk out, that's it. You're out. So please don't do that. Stay for the whole game. You know, high five a couple other Broncos fans along the way. Do whatever it takes to cheer you up, especially if the team loses. And try to ignore the opposing team talking smack. But that's just football. That's how it goes. As far as this episode being 188, I mean, that's really special, man.
That is special. Like, how could just finding that out just here at the beginning of the show, not knowing until we already went live.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it's unbelievable. It came into fruition. Everything is just happening just all together, and I love this.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard me tell this story before, and if you're tired of hearing it, I'm sorry. But for me, whenever I think of DT, the best memory was I remember the Steelers and Broncos game, playoffs. It was my birthday. I was eating at my favorite restaurant, and I remember they had the TV on. They had the game on the TV, and I was halfway deep in my torta, and Tim Tebow hits that pass to Demaryius Thomas, and he turns on the Jets, man, and he's gone. Nobody catches him. And I almost flipped over my table in excitement because I got up to cheer, but I didn't realize how close I was to the table. And the table teetered, and it almost fell over if I don't put my hands down on it to keep it from falling.
Flip the table. Just flip the table. Let's go.
So, I had everybody at the restaurant was staring at me, and I'm like, sorry, Broncos fan, we're going to the playoffs, or we're advancing in the playoffs. So that's my fondest memory of DT. I unfortunately, never got to meet him. The very first time I went to Denver was the game where he got traded to the Texans. And that was his first game back at Denver, but as a Texan. So they had the thank you DT signs outside the stadium. And it was really heartwarming. But even so, the impact and the change, again, I can't stress this enough, guys. Go watch or follow Mario Vitanzi, and he will have some of the most heartwarming DT stories you'll ever hear. I'm telling you, go ask him. Maybe he can bring it up on his podcast, follow him, and he can retell the story of just how much of a nice and humble man Demaryius Thomas was. And it's great to see that his name is in the Ring of Honor so that future generations, when they look him up and his stats and his videos and see just how great of a player he was on and off the field, will live on. And that's something that I cannot express, brings joy to my orange and blue heart. But with that being said, Libre, we have to get down to business because that's what we do here. We have to talk Yeah. Well, first of all, let's say hi to the chat because we didn't do that. We kind of got in our emotions. So, first of all, we have your cousin Juan Marquez saying, "What's happening?"
What's happening, primo? I'll
Yeah.
see you here in 2 weeks.
Shy Vargas saying, "I'm still shocked about what happened on Sunday. Aren't we all?"
We all are.
JC Weaver saying, "Let's go! What an epic game! Amazing to finally meet you, Libre."
You already know the Dream Weaver. Let's go. Great
And
meeting you as
then
well, bro.
Yeah, and then your cousin jumping in again saying, "My thoughts on the game was great win after we woke up in the fourth quarter. We need to play up tempo. We seem to play a lot better." And he also goes on to say, "We took over on the winning drive with 33 seconds left in the game." So
Yep.
the thing that's killing me, Libre, and it's now that the emotion and the cheering and everything has died down over the last 2 days, like we're still getting dragged in the mud for those 3 quarters of football. And I can understand it because what you cannot do, Libre, is you cannot always leave it up to luck because not every game's the same and not every result's gonna always result in the same. Okay. Let's put that out there in the open. What
But
we
when you do
wit
say that, before, sorry about
yeah.
interrupting, but we now have 3 games in a row that's what we've done. Is
Hmm.
we haven't played in the first 3 quarters of the game, but we show up in the fourth quarter. Like that's 3 in a row, and it's like it's so hard to watch, and we can't rely on it. Just like how you're saying. Just wanted to say that real quick because it's it's tough to watch that part itself. But I'll let you finish your thought, and then I'll go in on it.
Yeah, yes, no worries. So to me, it's don't get me wrong. What we witnessed was history. Uh, I was like I told you backstage before we started. I had written on a piece of paper everything bad about Bo, everything bad about the offense, everything bad about Sean Payton, and I was getting ready to tear somebody a new one. That's how heated I was to see. And the thing that's really the thing I think the thing that was driving me over the edge, Libre, was the fact that our defense, for the very first time in 7 weeks, looked vulnerable. Like I get it. Jackson Dart is a rookie. There's no tape on they could have studied. But the fact that Jackson Dart kind of made our defense go out there and look like the Raiders defense, that was terrible. Okay. That was not good. That should have never happened. Those touchdowns should have never happened, either one of them. But I will give credit where credit is due. Jackson Dart went out there and showed everybody that the Giants have found something in him, that they got something good going. You know, obviously he made the mistake of the interception, which was a big advantage for us. But he took that defense to the limit, something that no other team, not even the Colts, who are being regarded as the current best team in football right now in the AFC, not even they took the Broncos that much far to the limit. It took a field goal and some help from the refs to beat the Broncos. So before I turn it over to you, Libre, I just want to say that what we cannot do is we cannot keep going and playing football for just 1 quarter. Like if this offense needs to wake up, again, some of the same mistakes are still rearing their ugly head. You know, Bo Nix overthrowing receivers, receivers not getting open. Sean Payton with these wide receiver screens, Libre. Oh my God, we are not that type of team. And it was especially embarrassing when the Giants did it and Cam Scatterbo ran all the way for a touchdown on that same damn play. So please stop with the wide receiver screens. Either stick to the running game or throw the ball, but please, no more wide receiver screens on third down.
Talking about the wide receiver screens, like right now, we do not have the wide receiver core to actually go out there and block these corners at this moment. Like, so Sean Payton, I hope you're listening to this right now. Let me talk to you about this. Let's not call that because it's so predictable. And they know that we can't stop it. Like, we can't stop the defender getting in there and blowing it up. We need to get in there and be a little bit more aggressive and open the playbook a little bit more for Bo. Let him play like you did in the fourth quarter. Let's just do it from the first snap of the game. We're just not, our wide receivers right now are not that talented to make those blocks for these wide receiver screens to work because it's not there yet. Like we saw it with the Giants were able to do it. They did it against us, and it's predictable, like, but they can block. And that's how they were able to get down the field, and we couldn't get anything. We lost yards majority of the time. So let's open up this playbook for Bo. Let him play. Like I understand that. Like there's a lot of comparisons that I saw that in this fourth quarter. A lot of it being like Tebow esque. This is what Tebow, the era of Tebow for the 2011 season. Like, and yes, that's kind of what it feels like. It's like nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, it's the fourth quarter. Let's play now. Let's release them and just throw it out and see what happens. We can't do that. We can't continue to do that itself. And teams are going to be able to shut it down sooner or later because now you're putting us as being as one dimensional. Again, this is what we talked about last year, putting us in the offensive mind that we're one dimensional and we can't do anything else. But look what happened when you started running J.K. Dobbins. He moves the ball. Like you have to have the faith in J.K. Dobbins to let him go out there and eat. Let him do that. He's going to be there for us. It's going to happen, especially here in Mile High, when you know that you keep on pounding and pounding and pounding these guys, they're going to be worn out. The altitude is a real thing. That's why the Broncos, the video board always has there in the third until going into the fourth quarter, the altitude sickness and all that. So continue to just pound that rock and everything else will open up. But then going to Bo next. He's going in there and missing wide open people, especially the ball to Garrett Bowles. Wide open in the end zone for that touchdown. Like a lot of it is Bo Nix missing on some of these plays where he needs to control himself and just settle down a little bit. Because if you look at him, he's not settled down. And part of it, I think part of it too is that we had our left guard. This is the third left guard that we've had in there already. Wattenberg is letting some people in and whatnot. So we need to go out there and make sure that he's actually covered so that he's not feeling rushed. But overall, like, just let them loose. Just let them play. Even if it is backyard football, let them go out there and play because that's going to be a little bit more exciting than us being out there and booing you guys when you're out there. We don't want to do that. That's not what we like to do, especially our own team. But let them play. That's the thing that I want to see is let them play and let the excitement happen because look at what happens. You see this fourth quarter. Things miraculously happen and Mile High Magic.
Mile High Magic indeed, Libre. I mean, you just you couldn't write it any better, to be honest with you. And
right,
I will say though, the thing that kind of worried me, Libre, switching sides a little bit for the defense, Dre Greenlaw, I was expecting him to be a little rusty, but I know he was on a snap count and everything, but he was not really playing like you could see the rust on him. You know what I'm saying? I was expecting to see what we saw before he left San Francisco, kind of like what we saw out of Hufanga. Hufanga hasn't missed a step, and granted, he's been playing longer in more games than Greenlaw has. But again, playing on a snap count, I guess it's going to take him some time, is what I'm trying to say, Libre. It's going to take him some time to get acclimated, to get warmed up. And which, sidebar, I really do hate that they suspended him for one game because that whole thing was so stupid.
Well, the part of it as well, it's like I understand where he's coming from, why he went after the ref and whatnot, but we just won the game. But he was right there. The ref did push Stenod.
Yeah.
Like he pushed him. Like you saw the video. And that's what the worst thing about it too is like they're not putting these refs being accountable as well. And like I get it here. It's the end of the game. Everyone's rushing to the field saying congratulations to them for making it and just winning. But he's just trying to get out the way. But it's a better way to do that instead of pushing a guy. So
I agree.
And I feel like part of it, I think, we won't see the true impact of his maybe quote unquote discipline on it, because it could be coming down where him and his crew may not be able to do playoff games, may not be able to be eligible now for to rest the Super Bowl itself. So that's something that's a potential that could happen, because the all the refs are graded throughout the year, and to see who does playoff games, who's the crew that's going to be the Super Bowl, whatnot. So, and that could be a possibility where he don't do any playoffs and he doesn't get those extra checks that that they're hoping for. But again, we'll see what happens on that part of it. If anything happens, which more than likely we're not going to hear anything from after today as well. After they're making that decision with Greenlaw not being able to play, especially I feel like what is hurts us as well is that this is the Cowboys game that we would need Greenlaw in there, especially with Javonte Williams coming back and he's actually healthy, and he
Mhm.
can run, and that's where we actually would need him in here to be able to stuff the middle of that line, because I'm just hoping that we can get our front four to be able to stuff the run this week. But again, I'm not too worried because the Cowboys D is not that good as well. But that's when I'm talking about, like earlier, we need to just let this offense play and open up the playbook a little bit more, so that I feel like it potentially could be a shootout. But if our defense can show up and show out, like we can shut them out.
Well, the interesting thing, Libre, is that I've been reading, and what a lot of, and by a lot, I mean the couple that I read, but what most analysts have said that, we're getting close to the trade deadline, Libre. It's in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
quick.
the Broncos should definitely be buyers. And what a lot of them had in common, they didn't have the same player in mind, but they had the same position. And they think that the Broncos should go and buy a wide receiver or a tight
Yeah.
end at the most, because Evan Ingram so far, aside from that Philly game, has been pretty, as much as I hate to say it, irrelevant or
But
almost
when you
absent.
talk about irrelevant, though, it's the play calling. It
Yeah,
goes
it's the
back to
play calling that's made him
it's a
irrelevant.
play, but and that's not Evan Ingram's fault. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, is it's not his fault if we're not going to him, because like if you see when you actually go to him and actually are throwing him the ball, he is making an impact. And
Mhm.
it's just that I don't know why the play calling is not going to him, or at least getting him some more targets throughout these games. And that's something that Sean Payton needs to do as well, because you quoted him as the Joker during this offseason. And if you're not going to be able to get him the ball, or not even attempting to, like that's on Sean Payton, because he's doing the call playing right now. So I put that all on him. But I do agree with you that yes, the wide receiver, or at least the wide receiver area, is the area of focus of us looking at by the trade deadline. I did hear something, I think, on the radio, on 92.5, the Altitude Sports. They was talking about the Broncos may not be actively, say, looking out for people, but they're not. They are listening to what other teams might be calling in, and just listen to see what is a possibility. So we'll see what happens. Things. A lot of these teams don't like to show their cards up front, or what's happening on the back end, and just all of a sudden say, "Oh, look at this blockbuster deal that we just did." So, and that could be the Broncos. They could be real silent and not talking about anything right now, and then right as soon as the trade deadline happens, boom, they're doing something big. So we'll see. Well, I think in agreement with everyone around is that I feel like the wide receiver is the one role that we might have to improve on.
Your cousin Juan says this game coming up will be super special because jealous of Libre this week, but we have to get help for Moss on Pickens the week over the top, but we will beat their defense. With D Rock saying, "Yo, how nervous will the Cowboys be going into the fourth?" Shout out to you, D Rock. Thank you so much for being here with us and for your continued support.
D-Rock!
Um, to kind of piggyback off of what Libre said a few minutes ago, the Broncos have beat the Cowboys, and that's when Dak had all of his weapons. So the offense doesn't really scare me as much, because I know even if our defense does, let's say they have another week like they did against the Giants, it wasn't so much our corners that struggled. I think that it was just broken. If you look at that first touchdown that Jackson Dart threw, that was broken coverage
Mm-hmm.
because that guy should not have gotten that wide open. The other touchdown, exactly what Troy Franklin did, where the pass was batted and caught. That's how that one happened. And then the one where the running back, literally just ran in between the lines. Jackson Dart just kind of dove, but he was gifted that one by the refs. So yes, aside from the Sternad interception, like the Broncos have not been the defense have not been capitalizing on turnovers as much, but they have been able to do. I mean, for that first quarter, they gave the ball back to the offense, Libre. So they were out there more times that they needed to be because the offense either stalled out and they punted the ball. So that's what's going to happen when you keep trotting your defense out there, regardless of how great they can be.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to break. And they were playing against a rookie who they didn't have any tape for. Honestly, if that was Russell Wilson, Libre, that would have been like 33 points at the half, you know?
And then I don't know if everyone saw this little Twitter beef that's been going on between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, but that still comes about the fact as well. Like, yeah, if Russell Wilson was still in there, he does not make great decisions. He does not get the ball to his wide open receivers. So, but also the Giants were coming into this game on a 2-game win streak as well.
Mhm.
So they already had that momentum in their favor as well. And then us coming back from London, there had been some type of a little bit of jet lag. Even with Sean Payton declining to have this as a bye week going in after coming from London, everything was going against the Broncos for this because during those first 3 quarters, at least the first half, me and my buddy were talking. It was like, man, like the way that they're playing like they have jet lag. Like the defense was keeping us in the game early, but it was still a part where you say like the offense is just jet lag or they're just not connecting properly. But again, like I mentioned earlier, it's all about that play calling. And I feel like Sean Payton just needs to let go of the play calling and give it to Joe Lombardi or somebody else on the team. But it's hard for an old dog to give someone else the new tricks or whatever the case may be. But, like when you talk about it, that's really what it is. He's just so stubborn about it, and that's what he wants to do. But I'm just saying, like, we just need to figure something out. If that is the case, we need to do that because it's something that we need to get fixed right away because we're coming into a harder schedule too. Because what we have the Cowboys this week, then we go to Houston, and then we have the Thursday night game here versus the Raiders. So like even though the Raiders are still not good, it's still a divisional game. They're going to play us hard, and it's still going to be tough. So our schedule is still pretty hard right now. But we need to figure it out so that we can actually get on the ball of not having these rough first half of the games and then trying to figure it out in the second half to come back for another win.
I will say I am looking forward to that Texas game because we definitely owe them one for that. I mean, it's not, that terrible. I mean, that was all Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Just terrible read. But to kind of pick at the point you made about the Sean Payton Russell Wilson beef, it's pretty divided. There are some people that are agree with what Sean Payton says, and then there are some people that side with Russell Wilson for what did some person say, being out of character or something. The shot that Russell Wilson took on Sean Payton, I believe, went over the ball. It went a little bit further than the one that Sean Payton threw at Russell Wilson.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing about Russell is, bro, if you were injured, let's say, and they didn't play you, I would have actually sided with Russell. But you got benched by Jackson Dart, and Jackson Dart has showed you up. And there are people there were people on Twitter showing that play where he came in for Jackson Dart for that one. I almost cursed for that one freaking play. And he threw the ball into the ground, and you decide it was a great idea to clap back at Sean Payton. This is football, bro. football, everybody's taking shots at everybody.
Oh yeah.
But what Russell Wilson clapped back at, it wasn't about, like, if he would have said something about play calling, or if he would have said, well, you guys didn't do nothing for 3 quarters, I would have been fine with that, because that's just smack talk. But the shot he took at Sean Payton, our head coach, was over the bow. Second, it just shows the frustration, because let's face it, Russell Wilson was not happy that when Sean Payton came in, he took away his office, he took away his parking space, he started to criticize his gameplay. But Sean Payton made Russell Wilson a better freaking football player. Hell, you guys have heard me say a bunch of times, I was actually on the bandwagon for Russell Wilson to stay here and play the remainder of his contract. But it was written on the walls that they did not want Russ here. And it doesn't matter if it came from the owners or if it came from Sean Payton himself. They did not want him here because he just wasn't welcome. And Russell Wilson thought he was going to go to the Steelers and light it up, which he really didn't do. He had a couple of great games with them, but it was the Steelers defense that carried him. And if he really felt he was that good, he would have been kept in Pittsburgh. But they didn't keep him, and he had to go to the Giants, and he tried to make something out of the Giants, and it didn't work, and now he's playing behind Jackson Dart. And it doesn't, and to be honest with you, Libre, it surprises me that he's still a Giant. I thought he was going to be dealt to Cincinnati first flight out. So to me, I really think that Russell Wilson should not be talking smack, because he's only going to be getting a nice big paycheck for another couple of weeks. Because again, like I've said, you guys have heard me say it before, next season, he is not going to get anywhere near the money that the Broncos were going to pay him. There is no team that is going to be paying him the contract the Broncos gave him. If he does play anywhere else, it'll probably be for the vet minimum or a 1-year deal or some crap like that. And he's just going to go bouncing from league to league until he finally hangs up his cleats, Libre.
You know, like, honestly, like, I think this is it. Like, you've already bounced around the league. You came here after the trade from Seattle. You're here for a couple of years. You went over to Pittsburgh. You only have that one deal there, and now you're in New York. Like, trust me, I feel like this is going to be the last year. They only signed you to that 1-year deal, Russell. Like, it's going to be where you are now done. Like, this is your last year. No other team is actually going to take you, because like Adan just said, you lost your job to a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have it anymore. You lost it. And we saw that while you were here in Denver as well. And one of the guys here on TikTok, he goes by H, saying, what happened? What did Russ say and all that? And I was just explaining what happened. And it was just going in and what did he say? Where did it go? A lot of comments come through that I didn't see, but it's just that he can't get the ball out anymore. It's like he doesn't have that vision. He's not that mobile of a quarterback like he was when he was in Seattle. We saw that while he was here in Denver, and he was just upset and mad that he's no longer here in Denver and that he's not playing for Sean Payton. I felt like he had a good scenario, but Sean Payton didn't want him because he doesn't have the talent anymore. So, and he's just lucky that he got paid. And then I made this comment too about his comment when he said classless. I go, it's pretty classless that you're taking money from a team that you have never played a single down on that contract as well. Why don't you give that money back? You can go ask your wife for that money itself. She has way more money than you do. You know, so you ask her for an allowance. I'm just saying, she'll give it to you.
I mean, when you're right, you're right. But going back to the topic at hand, which was the game, Mahai Medlock, salutations to you, my friend. Thank you so much. It says Ingram was not going out of bounds on the second to last drive was a big play. They got an extra 15 yards. You know what also got us 5 extra yards, Libre? When Bo Nix realized that Brian Burns was hobbling to the line, and he was the only one that didn't make it by the snap, which gave the Broncos an extra 5 yards.
And that was brilliant, because what that also did as well is it stopped the clock. because of the penalty itself. So that whole thing, that whole sequence of that just was phenomenal. Like we're just in awe, and like just to be able, like just there, that mile high magic. Like still, like I like how people were saying, I'm still in disbelief as well. Like like I still can't believe what I witnessed. History.
And this is probably going to sound really stupid, but if you guys have ever been to a Broncos game, and Libre will attest to this, as I was sitting there and I was watching the start of the fourth quarter, Libre, what do they always do at Mile High before the start of the fourth quarter?
So if you've never seen it, you go check my TikTok out because I have the video out on TikTok. And Miles the mascot goes up on top of the jumbotron. He's at the top of the jumbotron, and he's out there waving the flag that says fourth quarter. And he's just waving it there. And then he slams it down. And then after he slams it down, fireworks on top of the stadium coming through. Before the last several years, they had a key, like keys, like put get out your keys, that it is the key fourth quarter, the key quarter itself. They don't do that now. They just, he waves that flag, slams it down, and then fireworks goes off. And then they start the altitude sickness stuff, like the video and all that. But let me tell you, just seeing that just hypes you up, pumps you up as well. And us still being down 18, 19 points at that point as well, it's like, and then we were driving right before the fourth quarter started in this game. We were driving, we were there, so we knew that we were going to hopefully score that touchdown within that to end that drive going into the first part of the fourth quarter, which we did. And you have that glimmer of hope, especially the way that tip drill, like that's what the best part is, that tip drill. Seeing that, it's like that's what Franklin had last year as well. He had that one interception, or not interception, but that catch where it was tipped. He bobbled it, and he was able to catch it there in the end zone. It's just a remnants of last year, and I'm like, can't wait for it. But the fourth quarter, talking about that's what they do to get the crowd hyped up and ready to go, and let's get everyone on their feet to get the juices flowing, because that first three quarters were hard to watch.
I was gonna also add to that I literally stared at the screen and I said to myself in my head, if there was ever a time we needed Mile High magic, it was now. So
Yeah.
And I also want to add that I had my dog in my hands when they were getting ready to kick the field goal, and my dad is like, he was standing watching the game with me, and he was like, so if they hit this field goal, they win the game. I was like, yeah, Dad, if Will Lutz kicks this field goal and wins this game, like I wanted to say the record attendance, but half of the attendance left the arena. But who's ever still left, and people all over the world in their orange and blue jerseys, like I wear every game day, are gonna lose their minds, because they're gonna win this game, a game that everybody had them to lose. And for a split second, after I saw the ball go right in between the uprights, I accidentally threw my dog over my shoulder because I jumped up to
see the perrito.
Yeah, but thankfully he landed on my pillow, so he was okay. But I was like, I'm sorry, man. And my dad was like, wow, like that is bonkers.
So I have another thing here as well. Mile High Missy on TikTok also mentioned is that right at the beginning of the fourth quarter as well, they'll play that song where it's about pounding your chest. So you're like, ooh, ooh, like you're just out there just pounding your chest as well the whole time too. So that's another tradition. You'll probably see that on some of my videos that I have out on TikTok as well. That I have that where I am doing that as well. So like it's another feeling too. It's like, all right, let's go. You're getting yourself pumped up, getting that chest pumped up. Let's go. So still like, damn, like just the excitement, like, jeez.
Yeah. But to kind of shift gears here a little bit, Libre, because I didn't realize we were almost short on time. We talked a little bit about the upcoming game against the Cowboys, and I will say that a lot of people have the Broncos pegged to lose this game because the Cowboys offense is on a tear. And again, let me remind you that the Cowboys have not beaten the Broncos since 1995 was the last time the Broncos lost to the Cowboys. So going into this game, you also have to remember that the Cowboys are not the world beaters that people, or I should say, Cowboys fans are making them out to beat. This is a team that lost to the Bears, and I saw that game. They lost to Carolina, two teams that they should have dog walked. Okay. And while they do have great pieces on offense, Libre, you mentioned Javonte Williams. It'll be his return back to Denver. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb is back, all that stuff. Those guys are definitely good at what they do, but the Broncos defense is also good at what they do.
Yes, sir.
So I will say the Javonte Williams part is really going to hurt because we're not going to have Dre Greenlaw out there for this game. But that just means that Alex Singleton and Justin Sternad, and I don't know who that other rotational piece is going to be, they just got to do what they've been doing for the past 7 weeks before Greenlaw came back and just do it one more time and limit the damage, make Dak Prescott throw the ball, make him uncomfortable in the pocket, because that Cowboys defense is one of the worst defenses, if not the worst, in the league as well.
Oh, yeah.
I do hope
we have to punish them.
Exactly. So we have to make sure that all the mistakes that we made during the Giants game, the Broncos defense, the flags, Libre, the Broncos defense got up so many flags. One is too many. Okay, let's just put that out there. In one drive, they literally put the Giants damn near in the red zone on just penalties alone. So they definitely have to clean that up. And I don't want to say that the Broncos offense needs to go toe-to-toe with the Cowboys offense, but whatever the defense gives them back the ball, they have to put up points, Libre. They cannot do what they did against the Giants and just keep the Cowboys in the game.
No, you're right. And the thing is, it's like I was just telling the guys here on TikTok, we're not going to go toe to toe. It feels like that we might be. That I feel like we can be out there, and our defense is going to be taking care of them, and we're going to shut them down more than people expect us to. So I don't feel like we need to go toe to toe with them because our defense is going to take care of that part of it. It's just Bo Nix has to be able to feel comfortable and not overthrow the ball. Once he's in there, don't overthrow it. Get the ball in the correct position itself, and as long as he does that, we'll win this game easily. I don't have any concerns with this defense itself. I think they're going to step up, even with Greenlaw out. It's just they'll step up. I feel like Bonito's going to be back. He's going to be in there wrecking havoc. Our front four is really good, so that's one thing that I'm not worried about. We're going to get to Dak and make him feel real uncomfortable, and then he's going to be running around. And like I said, by the time the fourth quarter comes around, he's going to be tired of running around, and that's when you're going to see a good majority of our sacks.
I do believe that too, Libre. Although I will say, I got to give credit where credit is due. And I'm not speaking for Libre on this. This is me saying it. But I'm going to eat some crow on what I said about Javonte Williams during the offseason. I thought he was going to go into Dallas, and I thought he was just going to be terrible. But, hey, I guess they figured out a way to use him that we couldn't do in Denver. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's had the success that he's had, and I only wish him the best. But with that being said, for 1 week, I'm going to wish Javonte Williams the worst in terms of yardage. I don't want him to get hurt, okay? I just want him to have a really bad game. And then after that, he can run his heart out.
So, same here. But, I always thought, especially for the last 2 years after his ACL tear, I always thought he was playing, especially here in Denver, that he was playing scared and that he was favoring his knee too much, that he didn't want to re-injure it or anything like that. And I think he just had this interview here just recently, right before the season. He goes, I feel 100%. I feel so much better than the last 2 years, which I do get, because typically I've heard that it does take approximately 2 years after an ACL tear for your to be fully healthy itself with that injury. But then you have Adrian Peterson, who did it within 7-8 months, and he was back out there and wrecking havoc. But again, everybody's body is different in the way they react to surgeries and whatever the case may be. And I can fully see, like, yes, it just happened to take Javonte Williams 2 years to recover properly, and he's wrecking havoc. I even said when the Cowboys picked him up early on in free agency, it was like the first day, second day when they picked him up off of free agency and signed him. And I too will say, I think Cowboys are hallucinating. They're just crazy. Why are you picking up a guy that hasn't done nothing the last 2 years? But Jerry Jones is crazy. He's took a chance on him, and look what he's doing for the team right now. So, Javonte Williams, you're going to be shut down this weekend. Anytime after this weekend, like how Adan says, you can go and wreak havoc and have the rushing title of whatever you want, but it's not going to happen this weekend.
You want to know what the most embarrassing thing for the Cowboys is this week, Libre? The fact that they are calling the Las Vegas Raiders because they want to make a trade for Max Crosby.
Well, and that's the thing, is they need to, because they lost Michael Parsons. Or wait. Let me say in Jerry Jones's voice, Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons.
But no, really, because of their defense, of how bad their defense is, and with the Raiders, like the Raiders are not playing that well at all. And yes, he's trade bait right now. Like they have to go out there. Even the Raider fans, like I've seen so many videos of people saying how bad their team is. They like showing like some of the fans were at a watch party there in Vegas and saying, oh, look at this. This is an end zone. This is where you score points,
Yeah, you
which
sent
is
me that video.
ridiculous. Yeah, I sent that to you. I go, which is crazy, because it's like they understand that they're part of a rebuild right now. And I don't think Mark Davis understands that or anything like that. And it's just time to, and again, I wouldn't doubt it if it's going to happen, because Pete Carroll's known to get rid of players as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see possibly Max Crosby there in Dallas.
Libre, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of regulation, which means that Libre and I are ready for some overtime.
Let's go.
Yeah, Libre. You know what time it is, bro. You know what time it is, right?
Get out of here,
bro.
Hey, I want to invite some fans on right now, so we're going to be on here for the next 2 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I have to cut our segment short today because my Chicago Bulls are
going to lose the home opener.
Yeah, and they are winning, Libre, winning. You hear that, Johnny? Playing? We're playing the Pistons. You hear that, Johnny? We're winning. W-I-N. And you know how to spell the rest.
Come on, Charlie Sheen.
Winning. But yeah, of course, unfortunately, listen, for those of you that don't know, when I came to this country, I've been in Chicago my whole life. And I grew up during the Michael Jordan era. My parents never missed a game. I was able to see the Dream Team play. Every single Michael Jordan game, we were always watching, glued to the TV. So Michael Jordan is the reason I became a Bulls fan. And I'd be suffice to say that I'm still a Bulls fan after 1998, because the Bulls have not sniffed the playoffs ever since. Okay, or an NBA Finals, I should say, ever since. So one day we'll get there. Hopefully, before I turn all gray.
Wait, so that already happened.
My team, all gray, yeah. But I can't wait to see Johnny again when the Nuggets come to town. Even though he said he'll never step foot in Chicago ever again because he hated us because of the traffic. But
the traffic there is terrible. Terrible.
We are terrible. But ladies and gentlemen, just in case if you're also new to this segment, this is the part where Libre and I let down our hair figuratively, and we talk about the remainder of the football games. We give our ideas, and we also assign points at the end of the game. So just so you guys know, the chat, yes, you guys at home who made your picks have surpassed me and Libre, and you guys are in first with 67 points, and both Libre and I are tied at 65.
So just 2 games. That's it.
Pretty
All
much
right.
2 games. So again, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you put your picks in the live chat so that way I can write you down and get you all marked up for next week. So, Libre, first of all, we have the Thursday night game tomorrow, which is going to be another barn burner, I'm sure. The Minnesota Vikings at 3-3 going on the road to LA to face the Chargers at 4-3. Now, of course, Libre, I'm not going to pick the Chargers to win because if you guys didn't know, the Broncos are in first place in the AFC West, Libre, which is something that we have not been able to say in 9 years. So, hip, hip, hooray.
Yeah.
And the Chargers just, I mean, if you saw the game against the Colts this past weekend, I mean, it was.
But I also look at it as the Colts are the best team right now in the league.
In the
Somehow
AFC, yeah.
in the AFC itself, they're right there up there. And I'm not surprised by what they were been able to do, but I also feel like we should have won that game as well while we were there in Indy. And it was just that last second, that last second field goal, that last play that gave us the loss. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers because they just played against a better team.
Are you serious? You're picking LA?
Yeah.
No way, Libre.
Hey, I'm making a 1-game lead on you and giving that 1 game away from the chat because I see that Juan already picked the Vikings. He only did that for his wife, though.
You hear that, Johnny? Bronco Libre loves the Chargers.
For my picks, yes. For money-wise, yes.
No, he's a secret Chargers fan. As soon as we go off the air, he puts on those ugly yellow bananas in pajamas uniforms they had on this weekend. They were so bad that Chris Berman in his fastest minute literally threw in there, "Don't ever wear those again."
No, but yeah, those were terrible.
I love Chris Berman. His takes crack me up. But yeah, you're right. They look terrible. They look like they were sponsored by Chiquita Banana. The Sunday games, we have the Miami Dolphins at 1-6 going on the road to face Atlanta at 3-3. Bronco Libre, I don't know what's going on with Miami, but ever since they beat the Broncos in that 70-point game, Libre, the game that a lot of Dolphins fans keep throwing in our face, they have not been relevant. And you already saw that the Titans fired their head coach. So I don't know what's keeping Miami from not firing Mike McDaniels. But if he loses this game, Libre, and
he might be next.
Yeah, and the Dolphins fall to 1-7, I definitely see the Dolphins being sellers. I'm hearing Bradley Chubb's name in rotation in terms of being sold to another team. Obviously not back to Denver, but I could see him gone. I could see Waddle gone. I wouldn't mind seeing Jalen Phillips in a Broncos uniform, Libre, because he's probably the only Miami Dolphins player, if I had to choose, that I would want on the Broncos because I love the way he plays. I love how he rushes to the ball. I don't know if he's an inside linebacker, though, or outside, but I'm going to pick the Falcons for this one, although I will say that Michael Penix being hurt is a bit of a concern. But, hey, if there was ever a game for Kirk Cousins to come in and save the day and be the hero once again and try to get people to remember he's in this league, it would be this one if Michael Penix isn't a go.
I'm going to go with the Dirty Birds.
Libre and the chat said Falcons. Okay. Next, we have the Chicago Bears at 4-2, who hit the road against the Baltimore Ravens at 1-5. Now, you got to remember, Libre, the Bears are on a 4-game winning streak, just 1 game more than the Broncos. So, if they lose this game, the Broncos take the lead, especially if they beat the Cowboys as the new team in the lead. I don't know what's going on with Baltimore, Libre. They're probably in the same boat as the Dolphins.
So wait, I want to correct you real quick.
Hmm.
The Broncos are also on a 4-game winning streak.
Oh, are they? I thought they were on a 3-game.
No, we beat the Bengals, the
Mhm.
Eagles, the Jets, the Giants.
Oh, I wasn't counting the Jets. That's why, because the Jets was like a bye week.
But we
So you're
almost
right.
lost that game too.
Yeah. So if the Bears, whenever the Bears lose, the Broncos take the lead, especially when they win, if they win their following game. So, but yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Lamar Jackson. He's slated to come back. That bye week could not have come at a better time for Baltimore. But you
Yeah.
got to wonder if it's a little bit too late in the thing. Now, Derrick Henry has not been the Derrick Henry of old. He only had one good game, and that was week 1 against Buffalo. And ever since he fumbled the ball, he has not been the same. Just ask my fantasy team. Who sidebar here, Libre? I'm in last place in my fantasy league. Last place. Libre,
Hey,
I'm
horrible.
the
I'm in second
commissioner.
place.
I'm the commissioner of my league.
So that means you can cheat to get yourself up.
I
No, I'm just kidding.
I can't be in last place when I'm the commissioner. So we already talked about what we're going to do to whoever comes in last at the end of the season. And
The toilet bowl.
trust me, there's not going to be another football season if I'm in last. Let's just put it that way. We're taking a bye. We're taking a bye year. See everybody in 2027.
That's funny. Hey,
fresh out
before
the
we
gate.
go on, we
Mhm.
have somebody across the pond that says greetings from Manchester, England.
Yes, Virgil Kane. Salutations to you, my friend. Thank you so much for your support. And hope you had a great time watching the Broncos out there play against the Jets. Hope you were able to go to that game. I'm jelly
Right.
that you were
Welcome.
able to go.
Hey, welcome to our live here. And I'm in the Mile High City. Adan is over here in the Windy City. So thank you for showing your support.
Home of La Toros. But the Bears are I can't pick Baltimore yet, Libre, because I don't know what we're going to see out of Baltimore coming off of their bye. I don't know if Lamar hamstrings injuries are tricky. They don't just go away completely, you know.
No, exactly. But I also like how you're saying there. He was limited today in practice. So because I work with a coworker who's a big Baltimore fan, and
Mhm.
we were talking about that today too. And he was like, "Man, I hope at least he's able to practice or whatever." But he was limited. I saw after I was coming home from work, saw that he was limited in practice. But I do feel like they might give him a couple more weeks or whatnot. So I don't feel like he's going to play. If he does, it's not going to be a good idea, especially with the way that the Chicago's been playing. So for me, I'm taking the Bears.
Yeah, me too. I'm taking the Bears. Although I will say Caleb Williams against the Saints had a terrible game, only 4 points. So he needs to do better against Baltimore.
That's your
And
problem for having him as your quarterback.
yeah, but he's not my quarterback.
Okay.
He's every Bears fan that lives outside of this house quarterback, but not mine. Mind you, there's like 5, 6 different teams that live in this house. So there's a lot of quarterbacks here. Next game on the docket, we have the Buffalo Bills at 4-2, who hit the road against the Carolina Panthers at 4-3. Now the Bills are coming off of a bye week, Libre, and you better believe that they really. It sucks that they went into a bye. They got embarrassed by the Falcons 2 weeks ago. So, and if Bryce Young was playing in this game, I think I'd feel a little bit more confident picking the Panthers. But again, nothing against Andy Dalton. You know, he's been the veteran play caller for the longest time. But it's like Andy Dalton versus Josh Allen. I mean, Bryce Young was already a stretch versus Josh Allen. And I like to believe that the Bills are going to be coming like shot out of a cannon into this game. And they're going to use the Panthers as a tune-up game. So I'm going to say that the Bills win this game, Libre.
I am gonna go with the Bills as well, and so does the chat.
Cool beans. Next, we have the New York Jets, who are the only winless team left at 0-7. Hit the road against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are at 3-4. Now, the thing that sucks for the Jets, Libre, is they can't get the quarterback situation right. And over time is a whole different conversation. But Aaron Rodgers wasn't the answer. Justin Fields wasn't the answer. Tyrod Taylor's trying to do his best, but he wasn't the starter. He's the second. And they're already saying that Tyrod has an injury, so he's questionable to start on Sunday. So it
Yeah,
might
he's
not
day
even
to
be
day.
him. Yeah, he's not even slated to be him. And the thing that really hurts the Jets the most is the fact that Aaron Glenn. I was already skeptical about when he got the job because I was like, Aaron Glenn is not the guy for the Jets. He has literally no coaching experience in terms of what the other candidates that were there. The Jets didn't want to spend any money to go out and get a caliber worthy head coach to contend with the Patriots, the and the Bills, and hell, even well, I mean, maybe Mike McDaniels. I'm pretty sure he's going to be free after this year if he wants to take a shot at try to run the Jets. But it just sucks because Justin Fields. I still say Fields should have stayed in Pittsburgh. That system that they had really worked for him there. Yes, he wasn't the greatest, but he was nowhere near as bad as he is currently right now. So, and Uncle Flacco, he should put the kibosh on this team because it looks like they got their second win. So I'm gonna say the Bengals.
Same. The chat says the same thing as well.
Libre chat. Okay. 49ers at 5-2, going on the road against the Houston Texans, who are at 2-4. Now, I will say I don't know what's going on with CJ Stroud, Libre, but it is not good. And this is not a sophomore slump type of thing. This is just if you guys were
third year.
Yeah, if you guys were able to stay up late to watch that Seahawks Texans game, the amount of overthrows that CJ Stroud did was terrible. He didn't even give his wide receivers a chance to make a play at the ball. They just completely sailed over their heads. And even though the 49ers are probably the most beat up team in the league outside of the excuse me, the Lions, whether it's Purdy or Mac Jones, it's going to be a Christian McCaffrey type of game. I mean, I think they get Jawan Jennings back, but unless the Texans defense they kept themselves in that game. That interception against Sam Darnold, that was their ticket to try to come back and make a comeback, and they just couldn't capitalize, Libre. So they got them at they're hosting the Niners, and as you mentioned, next week the Broncos come to town. So they definitely need a win because if they cannot go into next week against the Broncos at 2-5 and expect to get a win, because if they can't beat up team like the Niners, the Broncos are definitely going to give them a run for their money. So, but I'm going to pick the 49ers here.
This is for my bro from TikTok, Andrew Gonzalez. We're going to go bang, bang, Niner gang.
Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at 2-5 going on the road against the New England Patriots, who are at 5-2. Bro, the ovation that Mike Vrabel got at Tennessee last week was amazing. The Titans fans definitely remember, and I should have made a bet because I was right, Libre. They should have never traded Mike Vrabel. Yes, he had his issues with Tennessee, but saying that Brian Callahan was going to be the answer, getting him Cam Ward, letting Derrick Henry go, they made so many stupid decisions that everything's coming back to bite them in the ass, Libre. And the fact that the Titans fans were chanting for Vrabel at the end of the game, who was dressed up all in New England colors, you better believe that rubbed the management the wrong way. But I hope that sends a message to owners everywhere that when you have a coach like that that's really trying their best and you decide to move on, and whoever you get as his replacement does even worse, there's nobody to blame but yourselves. So get a napkin and wipe the egg off of your face. But I'm going to say the Patriots. The Browns, they have a quarterback problem. They should have never traded Joe Flacco to a freaking divisional team. And until Shedeur Sanders takes precedent, I don't think the Browns will win another game, to be honest, unless it's the defense that wins it for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Patriots as well. Looks like we're all in agreement. Come on, chat. Stop agreeing with me.
Next, we have the New York Giants at 2-5 going on the road. I can't believe they're already playing again. They just played like 2 weeks ago, Libre, for their rematch against the Philadelphia Eagles at 5-2. Now, this is going to probably be like the game of the week, Libre, because just for the simple fact that the Eagles looks like they finally woke up and they embarrassed the Vikings. And the Giants, I mean, they got something with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo as long as he doesn't give himself CTE, you know. But if the Giants can replicate what they did at the Meadowlands and just embarrass the Eagles, the only thing that concerns me about the Giants is Brian Burns, because he looked like he hurt his foot, and they definitely need everybody on the field if they want to beat the Eagles, especially if that Eagles offense shows up this time. But I believe that the Giants can do this, Libre. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Giants win this game.
Wow. Look at you here. So that means I'm gonna have a 2-game lead on you because I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Wow. Chat says Eagles too.
Yeah.
Ooh la la. That is crazy.
Crazy.
Tampa Bay at 5-2, going on the road to face the New Orleans Saints at 1-6. Let me just say that Mike Evans, for the last couple of years, I've been trying to get you on my fantasy team, but I always got beaten by somebody else. And the 1 year I get you on my fantasy team, you break your collarbone. So I'm sorry you're injured. I wish you a speedy recovery, but thank you for those first couple of weeks of trying to do something for me, man. But yeah, Libre, it was kind of embarrassing for the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs were looking to steamroll Detroit. You know, Detroit's secondary was all beat up, Libre, and they were just not able to do anything. The running game wasn't working. Baker Mayfield was getting rattled, and you know, it looked bad.
It
Was
was.
not good. You know, and they were embarrassed by the Lions defense, who had 2 turnovers on them on the day. So I felt bad for them because they were going into Detroit to get revenge for, you know, getting bounced out of the playoffs 2 years ago. And then they played even worse than they did in the playoff game. So I'd like to believe that they're also going to go into New Orleans like they're shot out of a cannon. And I think that, you know, Reagan Mayfield, I should say, is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I think that this is their bounce back game. So I'm going to say the Bucs.
I agree with you as well. The Bucs are gonna win this game. But when you're talking about like with the Detroit game, I think well a lot of it had to do with possibly just the matchups, why they weren't able to do anything. So I feel like that's part of why they couldn't move the ball properly. Because I have Baker in my fantasy team, and I barely won the 2 games that I have him on my 2 fantasy teams, and um, but I'm just glad I had other players that outproduced what their projections were. But Baker's going to have a bounce back game. He is in the talks of MVP, so he's going to be in there and he's going to make a statement this week. And he's like, "I'm still in the MVP talks. Let's go."
Of course, Libre. Of course. All right. Next, we have the Tennessee. I didn't realize that the thing ran out of ink. The Tennessee Titans at 1-6, going on the road to face the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts. Tennessee is just they're terrible, Libre, and the Colts they don't be surprised if you see like their second and third stringers out after halftime.
Well, I have Jonathan Taylor in one of my leagues, and he already has 3 games with 3 touchdowns.
Mhm.
So, and this is another game where he could potentially have 3 plus more touchdowns as well. And it's just not the like short yardage touchdowns, like 1, 2 yards. Like he's going to bust out long 60, 70 yard rushing touchdowns. So I'm excited for that. So I'm gonna go with the Colts.
Agreed. And then we have Sunday Night Football Libre. Green Bay Packers at 4-1-1. God, I hate that one. Uh, going on the road to face the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4-2. Now, I will say that the Packers have not looked like their dominant self like they did the first couple of weeks, and they've been struggling. They struggled to win that game last week, Libre, and so did the Steelers. The Steelers defense really let their offense down. I mean, Aaron Rodgers tried to keep them in the game, but the defense could not stop Joe Flacco. So, I know that the Packers don't have a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins, but they do have a Romeo Dobbs. They should be getting back what's his name, the speedy wide receiver that they lost to injury a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if he comes back for this game. And they do have a Josh Jacobs and they have a Micah Parsons. So, but I think that this is a bounce back game for the Steelers. It's really hard to win in Pittsburgh, Libre, because of those terrible towels and just, the energy in Pittsburgh. It's almost like what they have in the 12th man in Seattle, I guess you could say. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to get another one. I'm not sure he hasn't faced his old team since he left Green Bay, right? I don't think
Honestly,
so.
I don't know. I don't think he has.
But I'm going to say Steelers. I think the Steelers bounce back and win that game.
So I don't feel like the Steelers have what it takes to stop these guys. So this is go Pack go.
Yeah, Chad says Packers too. I can see your cheese heads. And then the Monday night game, Libre, which is the Washington Commanders at 3-4 on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs at 4-3. I would have felt more confident picking the Commanders had Jaden Daniels not gotten hurt. And now you have Marcus Mariota going out there.
Well, they've already confirmed that Mariota is going to start, even though even with Daniels out there is was limited at practice or whatever, but his hammy is not that good. So I think they're going to rest him a little bit longer. It's going to be better safe than sorry for them. And again, I always want to see KC lose, but they're also right now on a little hot streak too. They're playing pretty well right now. So, but yeah, I can't pick the Commanders in this game. Unfortunately, I have to pick KC.
Yeah, I just wanted Libre to say it so that way I don't have to.
Well, if you don't say it, it doesn't count for you, and it's a loss.
I agree with Libre. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, you have to say it. If not, it's no.
I just hate your cousin said, look, hate to say this, but that, so there you go.
It has to be recorded. I can't hear it.
I just recorded myself. I said,
no,
hate
you
to
did.
say this, but those guys, you see their names. Look, I'll pull.
I haven't seen their names. You have to say
right
it.
There. It's right there.
I don't know how to read.
The Kansas City,
no puedo leer.
Yeah. The Kansas City, who? Yeah, no puedo leer. Oh, it's turned into Viva los Broncos pretty quick, huh?
Yamero.
Yamero. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our Broncos overtime segment. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat. Juan Marquez, Shai Vargas. Who else was in here? Mahai Missy. Thank you so much. I haven't seen that name. Virgil Kane, thank you so much for stopping by from across the pond. So happy to see our fans from around the world. Mahai Medlock and D-Rock and JC Weaver, who was in here at the start of the show. Thank you guys so much. Currently, we
Tim Dog.
Yeah, we have about 25 viewers. If there's anybody still in TikTok watching, thank you guys so much for stopping by. At least 217 likes. That's nothing to be, mad about. That's more than one, so that's great. Before we head on out of here, just want to remind you guys to please show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network. If you can subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all the videos you guys see here on the network, your support is greatly appreciated. If there's something that you heard us say that you agree, don't agree with, want to dispute, please feel free to hit up the comment section, or you can hit us up on our socials, as well as those listening to us on audio. If you're not able to join us live, that's perfectly okay. 5-star reviews are greatly appreciated, regardless of what platform you're listening to. You can also send us a screenshot, and Libre and I will be more than happy to give you guys a shout out here live on the air. Our Twitter handles are mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Again, shout out to the sponsor of our show, which is Dubby. If you use the code OBN10, you'll get 10% off your order at checkout. Again, use the code OBN10 to get your 10% off at checkout. Shout out to Dubby and the guys over at the Nothing's Rhymes With for hooking me up, and Libre up with this amazing offer. Ladies and gentlemen, the Broncos are going to win on Sunday. We are going to beat the Cowboys. We are going
so whoever's here in town that's going to the game, please show up to the tailgate. We're going to have an awesome tailgate there in lot C10. I also have this banner presentation that I'm going to be doing during the game as well. I don't know when it will happen, but I know it will happen sometime during the game. So please, let's go out there. Let's have a good time. And I'm super excited. Cowboys think they can come in and actually beat us. They feel like they can do that, but they haven't done it since the 90s. Let's talk about that. The 90s, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Let's go.
30 years ago. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll be happy to know that your Chicago Bulls are still winning. They're winning. We're leading the Pistons. So
it's barely the first basket. It's okay.
We're going to be undefeated, and we're going to have a great record by this time next week. And I can't wait to share that news with you every single episode, Johnny Baki.
Hey, I want to finish this podcast off a little bit different here. Let's finish it how the Dallas normally does it, but we're gonna say, how about them Broncos? Let's go.
Oh, what I said at the start of the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I mean, I say it every time we win, and we're definitely going to win this one, so we're going to double down with that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz. This has been Whoa. See, I'm getting way of it. But make sure you tune in on Friday for Viva Los Broncos. It'll be Libre and I, but just remember, it'll be only in Spanish. So please make sure you have a translator or something that translates for you to watch it, because it's all in Spanish. So let me try that again. He's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz, and this has been Broncos Talk on the Orange and Blue Network. We say good night, good day, whatever time it is you're watching. And as always, how about the Broncos?
Let's go.
See, that actually does sound better, Libre.
That looks good. I like that, right?
Let's try it again. He's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz. This has been Broncos Talk on the Orange and Blue Network, and we say good night, goodbye, have a great day, and as always, Viva los Broncos!
Oh, Viva los Broncos! You were saying that way, okay?
No. Let's do this. That was a joke. Okay. As always.
Which one?
I'm trying to time it when I count to 3. And as always, how about the Broncos?
The Broncos, let's go.
We'll work on it, folks.
We'll work on it.